This is $10,406. How are you going to pay this back, and how long will it take, do you think?
A guilty plea is only the beginning as Eric Rashawn Guillory stands before the judge facing a felony burglary charge that could send him to state jail. But instead of focusing only on the crime, the hearing quickly shifts to something even more important: whether he can earn the court's trust by taking responsibility, paying back every dollar he owes, and proving he deserves to stay out of prison.
In 26 CR 105, I call the state of Texas versus Eric Roshan Guillory. That's you.
Yes, sir.
Present. With Mr. Martinez, your attorney, and the state's attorney, does the defendant waive a formal reading of the indictment and the arraignment here? And can we proceed in a summary?
Yeah.
In summary, this indictment alleges that on or about November 16th, 2025 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the state jail felony of burglary of a building. Let's see. Do you understand what you're charged with here?
Yes, sir.
If convicted of a state jail felony, you face confinement in a state jail for any term of not less than 180 days or more than 2 years in the state jail. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
An agreement has been reached where you would be pleading guilty, found guilty, sentenced to 2 years in the state jail. That would be suspended. You would be placed on regular probation for a period of 5. You want me to circle years or months?
Years.
I didn't want to answer this. I want to.
Ralph wouldn't have found that.
I mean, you better
To
talk to
volunteer
him,
it.
see what if.
Please circle years.
Okay, you would be placed on probation for 5 years. You do well, it gets short as a reward. Now, one of the, there would be terms and conditions of probation, including restitution, which is owed in the amount of $10,406. Is that your understanding of the plan?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this indictment charging you with the state jail felony of burglary of a building, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily? That
Yes, sir.
is on your own free will and because you are guilty.
Yes, sir.
Show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1. Did you sign that document?
Yes, sir.
Understand it? Discuss it with your attorney? Is everything true and correct?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 is tendered into evidence and without objection,
Yes.
it's admitted. Among other things, this states you are mentally competent to enter your guilty plea as freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. The indictment's been read to you. You've read it. You are guilty of the crime charged in any lesser included offenses. You are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses. You're totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All true. So help you God. This
Yes, sir.
states Exhibit 1. Made a part of the record for all purposes. Pre-sentence report is waived.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to move forward. If nothing further to add, I will follow this agreement. And 5, Mr. Guillory, you are pleading guilty to the state jail felony of burglary of a building. You were doing this voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. I find you are mentally competent to enter your guilty plea. There is sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here. We find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this state jail felony of burglary of a building. Following this agreement, you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the state jail for 2 years. That confinement shall be suspended. You are placed on regular probation for 5 years. There will be terms and conditions of probation which are normal and customary for this type of offense. One requirement, you will be ordered to pay restitution to the complainants as named in this indictment. It looks like Brandon John and Cowboy Ready Mix, owner thereof. We'll figure out it's Cowboy Ready Mix, but there's Brandon John. Do you know who that is?
No. The owner's name is Bubba.
Yeah, it's not a Brandon John.
The don't know the honest
I don't know.
It's but for sure. Not sure exactly what you're asking.
But the indictment says, without the effective consent of Brandon John and Cowboy Russ, the owner. Does the state have any information to help us on this?
And Judge, I'm gonna add a little more to the mix. I have a note of someone named Sharon Janice, so I'll have to clarify who is the actual owner. I've spoken with somebody. I need to clarify who restitution needs to go to. So he was an employee that called. Brandon John is an employee.
Okay, so it would be the responsible leaders or owners ownership rights to Cowboy Ready Mix, whoever that is.
That's correct.
We got to figure out. I'm going to ask probation to look into exactly who that is, but the entity is Cowboy Ready Mix, and whoever the owners, the rightful owners and responsible recipients will be the persons who we will direct that the defendant's probation order reflect that you need to pay that. Now, this is $10,406. How are you going to pay this back, and how long will it take, do you think?
It shouldn't tell me.
Because the quicker you pay it back,
the better I can select the probation.
the more likely you're going to get rewarded.
Yes, sir. I'm going to try to pay it off as soon as possible. I have a job. I work. I'm an over the road truck driver.
All right. Let me put, I can't put as soon as possible on the probation order. How much can you commit that you can pay at least every month?
$1,000.
Right. You must pay restitution again in the amount of $10,406 to Cowboy Ready Mix, the owner thereof of that entity, and as alleged here in this indictment. And you must pay a minimum of $1,000 per month toward that restitution. There are other fees involved, so you might not be able to pay it all as quick as you want, but the quicker the victims get paid, the happier this court is with probation, the probationer. If you get the drift,
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying. Okay. And I reward people every day. We got 5,000 probationers, and almost every day I'm rewarding them for efficiently taking care of their business on probation as ordered. Okay.
John, the police court, now that we're talking about the conditions, since he's a truck driver, is there any way to remove the condition of traveling just for purposes of work?
No, I don't have a problem with that. Where do you generally travel?
Here within the United States.
United States.
Yes, sir.
What's probation say about that? Is there anything we need to do other than just nothing where he's allowed to drive in the United States? Is there something else we ought to do just for the?
Did they know about the front thing?
No. I haven't definitely.
We can do with travel permits, and officers will have specific instructions on keeping contact with them. So,
Look, so your employer is not aware of this?
No, I haven't spoken with him about it.
Okay, well, I'm not, yeah, I don't want him to be put in jeopardy on his job because that's where the income, but I think entities need to know when somebody is convicted of a felony, and that's what's happening here.
I will speak with him about it.
They need to know about it, because if something happened and somebody later says, well, he was on felony probation when this occurred and he was working for y'all, and then they go, I didn't know that. Well, it looks, all kind of problems develop.
Almost definitely.
But be frank with them. This didn't have anything to do, I guess, with the job.
No, it does.
And you're not pilfering money from the job. So if you're a good worker, they're going to say, okay, you fouled up, you made a mistake, fix it,
Yes, sir.
and be the best you can be. but they have a right to know because
Definitely.
if something happens, then somebody then says, well, did you know he was on felony probation? And the owners of the company are the ones who are going to say, well, we didn't know that. That's an embarrassing moment if there's a legal issue that arises.
I was just waiting on the outcome.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, they need to know.
Yes, sir.
And you're in order to tell
Yes,
the boss about this, but that it didn't have anything to do with your job.
Right.
But it does, you have a felony
Right.
here, and they need to know when their workers have felony convictions so that they can make an informed choice about how that's going to work with their employment and with their insurance and other things that cost them a ton of money if it all collapses. And I'm sure this isn't directly related to the driving, so it shouldn't be a problem, but they still need to know.
Yes, sir.
And then being forthright and honest like that to them, they would probably appreciate it.
Mhm.
But the worst thing is if they read about it or find out later,
Right.
and then why didn't you tell us this?
Exactly.
And then that
Probably be
can get you. That would. How do you explain that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just waiting on the outcome.
Yes, sir.
Why?
All right. Anything else?
Mr. Chair,
All right. Thanks.
Thank you,
Okay.
pleasure being before your.
See you, pal. Be very careful back.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You do us the honor. Thanks, man.
After Eric Rashawn Guillory pleads guilty to burglary of a building, the judge sentences him to 2 years in state jail, but suspends the sentence and places him on 5 years of probation. The court orders him to pay $10,406 in restitution at a minimum of $1,000 per month, allows him to continue working as a truck driver throughout the United States, and requires him to inform his employer of his felony conviction. The judge emphasizes that quickly repaying the victim and strictly following probation conditions will determine whether he successfully completes probation and avoids serving the prison sentence.